So today we're going to talk about the boss that takes credit, all your credit, and throws the blame to your side. So today on today's episode of Under New Mismanagement, that's the kind of bosses that you're going to deal with. You've ever had this guy who just wants to take credit of what everybody does, but when blame comes, they're running away. So these kinds of people, first of all, when you're talking about such topics in this space, our main aim is not to shame anyone. Our main aim is to create conducive and psychologically safe working environments. We come here every day so that we may be able to discuss these issues and see how it affects the people's lives. We want to make sure that there's a space where mental health is taken care of in the organization. And many of these things, we spend 8 hours in the workplace every day and very few hours in the workplace. So the person you work with influences most what you do. They influence most what you think. They influence more of how you feel. The baggage you take at home, a big portion of it probably comes from the workplace, and most importantly, from the people you're working under. So that's why we're talking about these people. So you're working on a project in your workplace, and your boss is this kind who likes to take credit and does not recognize you. In academic spaces, they call that plagiarism. So we also have professional plagiarism in the workplaces. So what are the characteristics of these guys who just take credit and give you blame? I call them, the first thing is they're credit thieves. Say you're working on a project, you're a software developer, and you've come up with a wonderful concept in the organization that is going to change how things are going to work. So you draft a concept paper, you draft a very good document, and you forward it to your boss for presentation to management or the CEO or the board, depending on how the organization structure looks like. So you realize later that when the paper is presented, you had actually indicated to, prepared by Gordian Mabinda here. And then by the time the document is presented, your name has been expunged and the boss has put their name down there. And most of the time, they don't even know what is the document. So they go, they present it. Most of them, they're eloquent, but those, because they also don't have the humility to call you to make a presentation. I think in the best scenario in that case will be, if your staff has done a document, or they have done a presentation, or they have done a good job that you need to present maybe to higher authorities, would it hurt you to just call them in a management meeting or in a board sitting and say, hey, my department is working on this project, and I'd like my team member here who's actually in charge of the project to come and present it. Guess what? If you do that, you won't die. You won't. But the credit thieves always want to take credit of what their people are doing. When you're mwizi, you're a thief. You know, we speak about people who steal money, people who steal other people's wives. But here we're also talking about people who steal credit, the spotlight for someone who has actually worked day and night to make sure that this happens. So that's the thing they do, the credit thieves. And number two, another characteristics of this kind, they're the blame shifters. Have you ever had this guy who will always run away from you as a team once things have gone haywire? You know, I like what Simon Sinek says about this. Simon Sinek says that leaders will always eat last, and the characteristics of a wonderful leader is the one who will take the bullet. I'm paraphrasing. Who will take the bullet for their team, for the better part, for the best of the team. This is what he explains and says. A good leader is the one who will break the rules if breaking the rule will take care of the welfare of the team members. Sometimes you go out of the convention, but you've not met the blame shifting guy. The blame shifting guy is the one who will sit in a management meeting and they'll ask him, so for example, what is going on with your team? Why didn't we meet this deadline? And the guy will be like, I don't know what's happening with my team. I keep telling them to send me these documents and they don't send me these documents in time. Like this one, I had to do it myself. These people are very incompetent. Are they really incompetent, or you're just running away from responsibility? Remember, As a leader, you are in charge of the people who are in charge of the work. So if the work is not being done, it means that you're not doing a good job being in charge of the people who are doing the work. Again, I've just quoted Simon Sinek there. So what we need to deal with here is to avoid shifting the blame. Actually, shifting blame to your staff makes you look incompetent. Trust you me, your colleagues are looking at you and they're like, this guy, is he even in charge of his team? They're actually looking at you and wondering, do you even really know what you are doing? And trust you me, those you're trying to please by shifting the blame on the others, they will not trust you because they know in the next space they'll have, you will shift the blame on them. You will not be trusted. You will not be reliable. Blame shifters, they never have friends. Blame shifters will always attract critics, and you'll not be the favorite person in the room, even if you're trying to make it look like you're the best person in the room. So that is one of the characteristics that these people who want to steal your credit do. They steal credit, but they will never take responsibility when things go wrong. If I'm working on a project, I'd want my boss to be with me. When I fail, I want him to be with me and stand with me. Where I work, I want a kind of boss, and there was this time I was making a presentation, and he was in the meeting, and the question was thrown my way, and he gladly took the question, and I felt protected. I felt like it was raining, and someone just came from nowhere with an umbrella and protected me. Those are the kinds of leaders we want out there. Not someone who throws you under the bus at every opportunity they get. And if you're that kind of a leader, if you're that kind of a boss, trust you me, I'm going to talk about the damage that you're going to cause. Just sit back. And because you're listening even up to this point, it means that you're ready to change, that you're ready to make sure that these things happen. And if you're a staff member who's working under this guy and you're sitting down there, just wait. I'm going to talk about how to survive those kinds of leaders in this way. So number 3, characteristics of this guy, they're image obsessed. Have you ever been with those people who want to look competent, but they are not really competent? Competent incompetence, if I can put it like that. These are the guys who always want to talk the loudest in meeting. They want to ad-lib on every idea that you're giving. So you're giving a presentation, and especially in this time, actually there's an interesting phenomenon that's happening in meeting rooms and in departmental meetings, where you're making a presentation on a topic that you're an expert in. And then someone is sitting back at the back of his computer with ChatGPT and Googling and querying things about the same topic, then throwing you the questions. You know how you answer such a person? You just tell them, okay, let me explain to you what you've just read from where you're reading. And that actually neutralizes them. So there's this guy who is very obsessed with just looking competent, but they're not really competent. And we have so many of those. We have so many of those leaders. Let me tell you guys, it is not wrong to admit that you don't do anything. In fact, we learn most when we say we don't know than when we say we know everything. You don't have to look competent. If you're not competent in a particular space, I mean, you are good and better at another place. I always say, you cannot judge the genius of a fish by its ability to climb a tree. If you are not a fish, if you can't climb a tree but you can swim in the water, stick to your lane. That is why you are in charge of a team of people who know what they are doing best. Stop shifting the blame. Stop stealing the credit. So what's the damage that this does? This behavior kills morale of the team. It might sound a cliche. It might sound something that has been said forever and ever. But try imagining driving a car whose battery is dead and there's no fuel in the tank. Will you go anywhere? No matter how good of a driver you are, even if you're Lewis Hamilton, you can't do that. You will kill the morale of your team. The fuel of the team dies, the spirit of the team dies, because nobody wants to work for you, because they know even if I wake up and create an innovative and bring an innovative idea on the table, nobody will recognize it for me. Trust you me, we try many times to incentivize our people with money. But sometimes the best thing that people need in this life is recognition. Just an applause on the grand stage. Just a spotlight on them, and you'll see what magic that does to someone. You don't want to kill the morale of the people you're working with. Trust you me, when morale is dead, sabotage kicks in. The next damage that you're doing is you're creating a culture of fear. Fear is not even a motivator. And when people are motivated by fear, that means that that unit, that department, or that organization is dying. Trust you me, somebody who is afraid. Remember when you were young and then you'd meet this dog, in Kenya we call it Bosco, the dog that is in every funeral, because someone said that if you want to know where a funeral is, where food is, you just follow Bosco, it will take you there. There are these dogs that were really always scared. They are just tiptoeing. And the moment you step on the tail of this dog, what did it do before it ran away? It would bite you. Somebody who is afraid, the first instinct they have is to defend themselves. And trust me, you don't want to lead a team who is always on the defense against your leadership. We all know how that ends up. They will always want to defend themselves and you'll remain alone. You can't lead a team of people who are scared. We talked about the other time, those guys who just want to, the fear factor. You can't lead a team of people who are scared. You can't lead a team of people who are afraid of you. You walk in, they walk out. You ask for ideas in a meeting, everybody is quiet. And then you have those, I agree with you, so what so and so I said. And the other person has already said they have nothing to say. That's what you'll be having in meeting. The other damage that you'll have is you'll sabotage team cohesion. Guys will stop working together because even if they work together, they don't know who will be blamed next. Nobody will want to take responsibility because they don't want to take the blame. The team cohesion is dead. Once team cohesion is dead, your team is dead. Once team cohesion is gone, your department, your unit, your organization is gone. That culture, you don't want to make that happen. So, you want to work with a team that is organized. You want to work with a team that is thinking as one. Stop taking their credit. Elevate them to spaces where they'll be seen. Trust you me, nobody is coming after your job, even if they shine. You know the cliche, a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle? You are the leader. You need to create the space for your people to thrive. And trust me, when you're gone, people will talk about the impact you had in their life, not the instructions you gave them. People will always remember the impact, not the instructions. Because if we all remember the instructions, we'll all have passed all our examinations. But if we remember the impact, we'll always remember what the school made us feel. So team cohesion has to be cultivated. So I've just talked about you, the leader, what the damage that your behavior is causing. For the employees, for the staff that are working under such kind of a leader, so what do you do? How do you survive? Document everything. Here we're also talking survival. You also want to protect your image. You're a staff, you're a human being, you're a professional. You paid to go to school. Whatever you have is intellectual property. Document it. If you do something that is good, document it. If you're sending an email to your supervisor of a project that you're working on, or an idea that you're working on, blind copy someone in authority. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Where will they take you? Blind copy someone with something that has your credentials, that you put your name on it. Blind copy your personal Gmail, and make sure that what you have done is documented and it's reported. When you're doing your departmental reports, report of what you have done. Do not let anyone take your credit. It is yours. Fight for it. Imagine this is your life. This is your work that you put. Maybe you didn't go to bed. Perhaps you took time, you didn't go to bed early. You had to sacrifice that Arsenal game so that you can work on this project. And then someone wants to take it away. No, document it. Speak about it. Make noise. Communicate politically. Even if you're working professionally, make sure people know what you're doing. Don't be afraid. Nobody will do anything to you. Where will they take you if you document that? Do you think they have power to kill you? I mean, they can't even fire you because you document. In fact, they'll want to keep you around because you're smart. How do you do again? Build internal allies. Guys, stop being islands, especially when you're working in organizations. Build internal allies. Have allies in every space. After you're done with your project, have people who can help you push it. Do not sit back and say that, I'm doing this for the Lord. Even the Lord himself tells us to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Build your allies. When you build allies, you'll have people who will be able to protect you and defend even in high places. Build allies in this up there. And the last one you're going to talk about how you're going to survive that is manage up strategically. Find out what your boss likes, learn their motivations and tailor your solutions in a way and communication in a way that aligns with their goals. They always have goals, so see how they are going to what they want, what their motivations are, and align your project to their motivations. Trust me, when you stalk their ego and you stalk their motivations, they'll be able also to become your ally. That is also part of making them your ally. Under new mismanagement, we always talk about this. We don't fear, we punch up, we have conversations, all of this to make the best and make our working places psychologically safe working environments. See you in the next episode. Thank you.